Today, we're diving deep into Roblox Hollow Era, ranking every Shikai to help you determine the best abilities for your playstyle. Whether you're a seasoned player looking to optimize your build or a newcomer trying to choose the best path, this Shikai tier list will give you all the insights you need. Shikai are powerful transformations exclusive to Soul Reapers, unlocking devastating abilities that can turn the tide of battle. Some provide overwhelming offensive power, while others focus on defense, speed, or unique effects that give you the upper hand in both PvP and PvE. But not all Shikai are created equal, some dominate the battlefield, while others fall short in competitive play. In this video, we'll break down each Shikai, discussing its strengths, weaknesses, and how it performs in different situations. Whether you're aiming for the highest damage output, superior mobility, or strategic versatility, we've got you covered. Before we jump in, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest tier lists, guides, and gameplay tips for Roblox Hollow Era and other top games. Now, let's get started with the ultimate Shikai tier list. C-tier Shikai, Zangetsu. Starting off with the C-tier, we have Zangetsu, a Shikai that, while iconic, falls into the average category due to its predictable moveset and lack of versatility. It has a simple but effective skill set that focuses on direct attacks, making it a decent choice for beginners but lacking the power and utility needed to compete with higher-tier Shikai in more intense battles. Passive, not applicable. Unlike many other Shikai that provide passive buffs or unique mechanics, Zangetsu does not have a passive ability. This immediately puts it at a disadvantage, as passives can often provide extra damage, healing, or movement speed, all of which are crucial in both PvE and PvP situations. Abilities Overview. Z. Getsuga Tensho. This move allows the user to send out a powerful energy slash. It's a solid ranged attack, but it lacks additional effects like stuns, burns, or knockback, making it somewhat one-dimensional compared to other abilities in the game. X. Aerial Getsuga Explosion. The user unleashes a Getsuga that grabs an opponent, lifts them into the air, and then explodes. While this move can deal decent damage, it requires precise timing and positioning. Against mobile or high-speed opponents, it becomes difficult to land consistently, limiting its usefulness in PvP. C. Dashing Slash, a simple dash attack that allows the user to quickly close the gap and strike. While mobility is always a plus, this move lacks the power needed to make it a real game-changer. Many other Shikai have superior dashes that either stun, ragdoll, or deal AoE damage, making this one feel underwhelming in comparison. Ultimate, Giant Getsuga Tensho. As expected, the ultimate ability is just a larger and stronger version of the basic Getsuga Tensho attack. While it deals a lot of damage, it's still a straight-line projectile, meaning opponents who can dodge, block, or counter will have an easy time avoiding it. Why Zangetsu is C-tier. Overall, Zangetsu is not a terrible choice, but it struggles to keep up with higher-tier Shikai. Its lack of a passive ability, linear attack patterns, and predictable moveset make it easy to counter, especially in PvP. While it can still be effective in PvE against slower enemies, there are simply better options available. If you're a fan of Zangetsu, you can definitely make it work, but compared to other Shikai that offer better crowd control, superior damage, or stronger passives, it doesn't bring enough to the table to be considered a top-tier choice. B-tier Shikai, Benihime. Moving up to the B-tier, we have Benihime, a Shikai that offers a decent balance between offensive and defensive capabilities. While it has some strong moves, it lacks the overwhelming power or unique utility needed to place it among the top-tier Shikai. Still, for players who prefer a mix of ranged and trapping abilities, Benihime can be a solid pick. Passive, unique block design. Unlike Zangetsu, Benihime actually has a passive, though it's purely cosmetic. Your block will have a unique design, but it doesn't offer any defensive benefits, making it one of the weaker passives compared to other Shikai that grant speed, lifesteal, or damage resistance. Abilities Overview. Z. Energy Slash, a basic ranged attack where the user sends out a slash of energy. It's a decent zoning tool, allowing you to deal damage from a distance, but it doesn't have any extra effects like knockback or burn, making it somewhat average. X. Trapping Net Explosion, one of Benihime's more unique abilities. This move creates a net that traps opponents before exploding and dealing damage. This makes it a good crowd control option, especially in PvP, where stunning or trapping an enemy can create an opening for big damage. However, the net can be avoided, making it less reliable against highly mobile players. C. Triple Slash sends out 3 energy slashes toward the target. Compared to the Z move, this has a higher damage output, making it a great follow-up attack after trapping an enemy with X. However, since the slashes are all projectile-based, they can be dodged or blocked if the opponent is quick enough. Ultimate, Missile Barrage. The user flies into the air and rains down a barrage of missiles that deal high damage. This is by far the best move in Benihime's kit, as it can hit multiple enemies and deals a significant amount of damage. The biggest downside is that it leaves you vulnerable while casting, so using it at the wrong time can put you at risk of getting counterattacked. Why Benihime is B tier? Benihime is a well-rounded Shikai, offering a mix of ranged attacks, trapping abilities, and a powerful ultimate. However, its lack of a strong passive, reliance on predictable projectile-based attacks, and vulnerability during ultimate casting hold it back from being A or S tier. That being said, Benihime can still be a great pick, especially for players who enjoy a mix of zoning and crowd control. If you can land the X abilities trap consistently and follow up with high damage combos, this Shikai can perform very well in both PvE and PvP. However, against faster opponents or enemies with strong mobility, it can sometimes feel too slow and punishable. A tier Shikai, Ice and Senbonzakura. Now we're moving into the A tier, where we start to see Shikai that offer strong abilities, solid passives, and reliable combat potential. These Shikai are powerful in both PvE and PvP, though they might still have some minor weaknesses preventing them from reaching S tier. Ice, a strong control-based Shikai. Ice is an excellent pick for players who prefer crowd control and zoning. Its passive, Freeze, gives it an inherent stun mechanic, which makes it highly disruptive against enemies. If used correctly, this Shikai can lock opponents in place, setting them up for easy follow-up attacks. Abilities Overview. Z. Ice Skating. The user glides on ice, and any enemy they collide with will be frozen. While this is a unique mobility tool, it's also a bit situational, as you need to make direct contact with enemies for it to be effective. X. Ice Pillar. A solid zoning move that summons an ice pillar at your cursor's location. This is great for controlling space, as it forces opponents to be cautious about their movement. C. Ice Dragon. A high damage attack where an ice dragon flies into the air before crashing down at the targeted location. It has a slight delay, meaning skilled opponents might dodge it, but it's deadly when it lands. Ultimate, Frozen Explosion, one of the best AoE stuns in the game. This move freezes everything around the user. It's an amazing setup tool for combos and is especially useful in PvP, where a single freeze can turn the tide of battle. Why Ice is A tier? Ice has great crowd control, good zoning, and strong damage potential, but it requires proper positioning and timing to be fully effective. The Z ability can be tricky to land, and the ultimate takes time to charge, making it slightly harder to use compared to S tier Shikai. However, in the hands of a skilled player, Ice is a top-tier choice for controlling fights and disrupting enemies. Senbonzakura, Deadly Precision and High Damage. Senbonzakura is an aggressive, high-damage Shikai that focuses on controlling space with its petal-based attacks. While its passive is purely cosmetic, its abilities make up for it with high burst damage and tracking attacks that can be difficult for enemies to dodge. Abilities Overview. Z. Sword Slash. The user sends out their transformed petal sword, which can hit multiple enemies before returning. This piercing attack makes it great for fighting groups of enemies, as it can hit multiple targets at once. X. Rising Petals. A burst of petals lifts the opponent into the air, which makes this an excellent combo starter. Since the move forces the opponent into a vulnerable position, it allows for easy follow-up attacks. C. Petal Tornado. This move sends a tornado of petals forward, dealing consistent damage. It's a great zoning tool, preventing enemies from advancing and making them take chip damage if they walk into it. Ultimate, Petal Barrage. The user summons their petals on the ground, and after a brief delay, they shoot upwards, bringing any opponent caught in the area into the air with them. This is fantastic for PvP, as it's hard to escape once activated. Why Senbonzakura is A tier. Senbonzakura's high damage output, solid zoning tools, and combo potential make it one of the better Shikai options. However, most of its attacks are projectile-based, meaning enemies can dodge or block them if they react quickly. Despite this, Senbonzakura is an excellent choice for players who like long-range combat and strong setups. Final thoughts on A-tier Shikai. Both Ice and Senbonzakura bring a lot of value in both PvE and PvP, making them top-tier choices. Ice is perfect for freezing and stunning opponents, controlling fights through crowd control. Senbonzakura is all about high-damage petal attacks, rewarding players who can aim and time their abilities well. While not quite as broken as S tier, these Shikai are still extremely strong picks that can dominate in the right hands. If you're enjoying this Hollow Era Shikai tier list, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more Roblox guides, tier lists, and gameplay breakdowns. Your support helps us keep making content like this, so if you want to stay ahead in Hollow Era, make sure to hit that notification bell. S tier Shikai, the best of the best. Now, we've reached the S tier, where only the most powerful and game-changing Shikai belong. These Shikai have exceptional abilities, strong passives, and high damage output, making them the absolute best choices in both PvP and PvE. Ryuujin Jakka, the ultimate fire Shikai. When it comes to raw power, Ryuujin Jakka stands at the very top. As a legendary Shikai, it has insane offensive potential, burning everything in its path with its powerful fire-based attacks. Its passive, Burn, ensures that every attack applies damage over time, making it a deadly force even after the initial hit. Abilities Overview. Z. Fire Burst. The user unleashes a burst of fire from their sword, flying forward and burning anyone caught in the attack. This move is fantastic for quick engagements and can catch opponents off guard. X. Fire Slash. The user performs a slash, creating a burst of fire around them. This is an excellent defensive tool, punishing enemies who get too close while applying burn damage. C. Blazing Impale. The user lunges forward, impaling an opponent before unleashing a burst of fire. This is a high-damage attack that works well in both PvE and PvP, as it combines mobility and raw power. Ultimate, Inferno Pillars, the strongest attack in the game. The user summons massive pillars of fire, burning anyone caught within them. This huge AoE attack makes it nearly impossible to escape, ensuring that anyone in range takes massive damage over time. Why Ryuujin Jakka is S tier. Unmatched burn damage. Every single attack applies damage over time, making it extremely lethal in longer fights. Insane AoE potential. Most of its moves have a wide area of effect, making it deadly in group fights. Versatility in combat. Whether in PvP or PvE, this Shikai is dominant due to its consistent damage output and strong abilities. Game-changing ultimate. The Inferno Pillars ultimate is one of the best in the game, covering a huge area and dealing immense burn damage. If you're lucky enough to get Ryuujin Jakka, you immediately have a top-tier advantage in fights. This is, without a doubt, the best Shikai in Hollow Era, making it the definitive S-tier pick.